So Jeff, you're up next. So why even improve? Why does this all matter? Take it away.
Yeah, so as we thought through this, I'm like, well, do we even need to improve? Like, it seems like it has to be said at any corporate levels, oh, we have an improvement system, but I'm not sure that people actually believe that. So we thought maybe we should at least cover a little bit of the thinking that we have around improvement and why improve. And also to even start with, well, what actually is improvement? So, and in our view, and this is, when I say our, it's maybe two people agree with me so that it becomes our, my view is that work when it's done well should feel like hobby. And when we start asking our guests, and we've, I think, had about 40,000 people in real life tour us, when we talk to them about their hobby, it's almost always just a massive blessing. It delivers joy to them, and they do it for their own reasons. And when we ask them the real basic question, does somebody in the world get paid to do your hobby? The answer is yes. And we haven't really found anybody that can't think of somebody getting paid to do their hobby. So so when we think about it as a worldview, one way of looking at maybe just asking and prompting and surveying people is work when it's done for some different reason than normal work feels good. And then we start asking people about, well, how does work feel? And as we survey the guests, we've heard them say things like anxiety, I feel like a slave, I feel like I'm suffering, I'm suffocating. A lot of these different words started coming with work. And along the way, we started to realize that since Toya had defined the 7 wastes, we started seeing a connection between these horrible words and the 7 wastes. So my worldview, my own personal worldview, is that work is and should be good. Creating value should be good. And it should be good not just for the shareholder, but work should be good for the customer, for the employee, for the employees' families, and for society in general. And what I can easily say today is if I was a gardener, the corn and the squash and the other things, the vegetables in the garden, that's what we're trying to grow. And the 7 wastes that Toyota was able to identify for us are the weeds that are in the garden. And if you've ever had a garden, you know that the weeds, when you pull them, they're coming back. So improvement in our world is moving from time spent doing not value-added work, basically spending time on weeds, to having more and more and more of your day being spent only on something value-added. So for us, we feel that that's improvement. And in our observations over the years, organizations that get a bunch of people moving together to remove waste, you see something that I really desire, which is joy. I want it to feel like hobby. As a business owner, I know I'm getting paid. That's a byproduct. That's the gift that comes with it. But the main motivation that we have around improvement is we spend a lot of our days at work, a lot of our times, a lot of our years. I've been here now 38 years, which is kind of ridiculous. 38 years, I could have spent those 38 years suffering, or I could be on an improvement journey where I get to collaborate and innovate and have joy in our work. So our reason for improvement is because it's a moral issue, not a business issue. Morally, if I own a company and I cause 200 people to feel horrible about their day, and I cause it because I allow waste to be in our system, I think I'm a pretty bad person. And so the flip of that is, I think, also okay. If we can find a way to work with a little bit more joy every day and spread that into our community, I think that I would like to be known by that. So if you have a question about this worldview, this is the case for improvement. Please don't do it to make your company more money. Who cares about the company, honestly? I don't even care about my own company to do this for that reason. But I do care about the faces that are here, who are working with me and all of you, and even my former colleagues. There's a couple of them on the horn today that used to work here. I absolutely care about them. And by the way, we'll get paid. But the main reason is life's too short. And if we are in a position of authority, we have the opportunity to be a blessing or a curse every day. That's our reason for improvement. Any questions on that? You can put it in the little thing that Tucker, the chat thing. I don't know how to do that. But if you have a question or you want to push back on that, have at it, yeah? So and since we know that, yeah, it's great. If we know that waste is bad and causes the opposite of joy and anxiety and the diseases that come with that, then in my view, I want to create a system that automatically, constantly, vigorously, religiously gets rid of it every day. And that's what we're talking about in system, as a system, is it's connected to all things. Yeah. So I think with that, Tucker's going to give you another breakout session.
Yeah. Before we go into that, Mark, do you have anything to add around kind of the why behind improvement systems from your experience?
You kind of caught me off guard there. I think yeah, there's got to be a sense of purpose to it. And as Jeff said, if it's, just going to above, companies who really get this stand for something higher, and achieving that higher purpose more effectively is generally what they're after. Our benchmark often is Toyota. Toyota is about creating mobility and creating to society by creating mobility. And the idea of shareholder value is like 6th or 7th on the list of things that are important to them. And so I just sent a link in the chat to a guy named Richard Sheridan. He's the co-founder of a software development company called Menlo Innovations. What they stand for, this is their mission statement: to end human suffering as relates to technology. And they live that every day. They make good software, but they also they only work 8 hours a day. They don't work weekends. They don't do overtime, and they deliver everything on time. They create a joyous place to work, and they work really hard to maintain that. And they're very good at what they do. So part of it is what you stand for. And I think I'll just shut up there.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. That's yeah. And if those of you who don't know who Rich Sheridan is and Menlo and Joy Inc., we highly recommend. We don't read necessarily like all the books on lean and all these concepts, and that their book isn't even really about lean, but that is one that we would wholeheartedly embrace and just say go read that one. Pretty quick. It's written pretty well and kind of like in a fun narrative kind of way. So highly recommend that.
I'll just tell you everything in that book is true because I
was just about to
hung out
add
there
that
for days.
Yeah. I was about to add that, and it's true, which is really different than a lot of the other books I read. So
that is
yeah,
true
for sure.
Yeah.